cabber who's pulling out now. Steven's truck next to her, next to him, was the driver was giving a hand with that. It was just one very simple little instruction I gave her. Yeah, because I saw that she was set up too much to the blind side, so I just told her just do a 3-point forward serpentine, left, right, and left. And I told her that should get you set up better. So she does that, and it worked perfectly. I was busy trying to get my my doors closed and all that, so I was busy with that. I didn't even watch her set up, but I just kind of told her what I do, and it worked great. Oh no, appreciate it though. Yeah, no problem. Good job. Yeah, good job. Yeah, good job there, by the way. All right. Let's see. All right. Yeah, she offered me a water for helping her out. I appreciate it, but I got water here, and yeah, I'm just doing what any decent driver will do. Help another driver out. Don't sit here and watch someone get in an accident. And don't sit here and let them have a miserable time trying to get into a spot. It's just some little detail said the right way can make all the difference in the world for people. Make them better. Alright. Okay, so I don't know that the loader gave me the right information. See, they said I don't have to go into the office. I don't know if it's the fact that it's after 1900 or what, but backed up, so that way if anyone needs to dock in nearby, they can. Check out. So we'll do that. Dave in the yard jockey told me just go to the yard shack. Road, I got room to work with. here. I move my mirror. I'll make sure, yeah, oh yeah, I'm fine. I just gotta, as long as I clear this guy here. Yep, good to go. Short ride, a short maybe 2 hour or so trip to the house. Hello.
I'm just gonna check the other paperwork they gave you.
No, both the yard dog and the guy who sealed me said to just come to you, I guess.
With that, so you didn't get no sealed papers or anything? No? So you haven't gone to the office?
No, I was just told to come straight out this way to you or something. Or
No, if you just leave your check here and I'm gonna have you go to the office to go get your paperwork. Take those with you, okay?
okay, is it right here?
Yeah, up that ramp, go through
Okay.
that door and make the left.
Maybe that's what they meant, because
Yeah.
they were both pointed in this direction,
Yeah.
but. We got Clueless, James Ewing, Lionel, who else? Let me get out of the gate area and around the curve here, and then I'll send my departure information and we'll get out of here. And I adjust my mirror, my right side mirror back. Alright. Now I rotated my right flat mirror out so I can double check the make sure I knew where my tandems were at in relation to the guy who was in the door next to me. Alright, I'm going to come over here in front of this drop trailer. So harder for trucks to get around to maneuver there, and don't want to be blocking up the lane either. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna be ending this shift at my house. I got plenty of time on the load to work with anyway. Wouldn't have minded getting a chance at a 34-hour reset. Now, see, there's a Stevens coming into the lot right now. So, exactly what I was talking about there. So, 1942. But my load instruction 6:30, so I'll be doing 30 anyway. Double check where on the BOL it says the temp to run at though, just so I know what their expectation is. Yeah, the route that I normally take will be 710 to 60 to 605 to 210 to 15. Get all that? I mean, you and I are from this area, so you get that real easily, but I know other people watching probably, huh? Your words? See where my seal number is. Now, where the hell's does it say what temperature to run it at? Refrigerator load should always say on the BOL what temp to run at, but I'm not seeing it on here yet. It's just this other instruction saying 30 degrees, but Publix loads must ship at 33, and this is a Publix load, so yeah. So I'm gonna just say plus 33 for the BOL temp, and then I'll put reefer setting plus 30. I'm gonna double check if they want continuous or start stop. They want continuous, so I'll have to switch my reefer to continuous mode. What am I didn't even notice what exactly I had in there. Oh. Okay, we'll just say beverages. Load assignment says to run plus 30. get my reefer set to continuous mode and get out of here. Actually, I still got to send my loaded call to. I send the departure, but I got to send the loaded now. That's what, because departure just means I left the location, doesn't mean I'm necessarily loaded though. If you will. What was that S000 whatever number? Where'd you go? There it is. SO. Not a super heavy load, 35,170. Pieces, 3,008. 35,000 pounds. I'm not even inclined to go over to that with there's a Catskill a couple miles down, but it's going the other way from the way I want to go. 35,000, I'm not inclined to go over there just for that. I almost guarantee that it is legal. Enough to get me into Arizona. We'll see. It'll definitely get me home, I'll tell you that. It's only 80 or so, yeah, about 80 or so mile trip, 85, I don't know, something like that. 85, or we'll just call it that, 80, 85 mile trip from here to my house. I'm in Vernon, California. For those of you guys who don't know, Vernon is just south of downtown LA. It's right where the 710 and 60 freeways meet up. Alright, I didn't say to use a damn virtual keyboard. Get out of here. Okay, so I only have one way station I gotta worry about, and that's in the Cajon Pass, and it's probably gonna be closed, and highly unlikely I'm gonna be overweight anyway with bills say. Uh-oh. Let's let this guy go first. His tannins are going to come into my path. This guy does not know how to do a proper butt hook, apparently. See, his tandem's only didn't clear me by a large distance. That's why doing a proper button hook into the lawn is important. You don't know what's coming out. You're clear. Okay, turning on to Bandini Road. 710 freeway is straight ahead. Not even a mile up the road. You can already saw that car on the overpass there. Freeway terminates into the 10 freeway, not far at all west of here, you assholes. And where the 60 and 10 meet up, basically 60, 10, and kind of the 5 also. You call that the East LA interchange. And then just a couple miles west of there, a few miles west, whatever it had, of the East LA interchange is actually downtown LA. Yeah, I'm just a hair south of the, just like 2 or 3 exits south of the 60 freeway, and you can see the 710 freeway right in front of me. Darn the world. It almost looked like an armored truck, but I don't think it is one. But then again, in Garda World, it sounds like it could be. or you went to Banning? Gonna do anything interesting over there? If you're gonna go out to Banning, there's something else you can do, and this time of year is actually, or probably even more so, next month, or actually no, later this month even. Go up to Oak Glen. Now for Oak Glen, it's clueless. You probably have an idea already yourself, but for other people as well. Okay, Oak Glen is a farming community, I guess, or an agricultural community north of Beaumont. Beaumont is just west of Banning, and Beaumont is right where the 60 and 10 freeways meet back up on the eastern terminus of Highway 60, over east of San Bernardino. A couple ways up there, you can either take the Oak Glen Road exit and the Yucaipa area, in between Yucaipa and Calamasa. Let's see what this I had to make sure to wait for that lane to clear first. Anyway, you can take that road up, and that can take you right through Yucaipa, and kind of up and across over to the east, basically, over into Oak Glen itself. The other way is to get off of I-10 in Beaumont, or another way you can go. It's not the only other way, but the easy instruction, I guess, would get off at I-10 at Highway 79 or Beaumont Avenue, and then go north on Beaumont Avenue, and then you just follow that street straight up about 10 plus miles, 10, 15 miles, whatever it is, and that'll take you right into Oak Glen. Alright, got 7, 10, and 5 freeways right here. Olympic Boulevard. All the way up till its northern terminus, and which is the 210 freeway. Hey Corey, how you doing? Much longer day than it probably needed to be, but at the same time, they probably did me a favor by at the first customer without even realizing it. I mean, for one, I should get detention pay for being there as long as I was. And also, I was going to have an expired clock before I left there, and would have made it technically illegal for me to go to my next shipper. But the next shipper was right there in the same town, and for all intents and purposes, I could have called it a safe haven as well. But I didn't even have to do that. I was at the first customer's, the receiver that I delivered to so long this morning that I was able to get a full 8-hour sleeper berth, which reset before 60. She got lane endings and stuff, and I got another 4-wheeler right next to me. Let's see if I can get out of the way. Thank you. Plus, I got this other car wanting to come over to get off the freeway, obviously. An Atlantic. slow down some now. Okay, so the fact that I got to the receiver early enough in the morning, I got there at 5 a.m. and I'm sure glad I did. Because I was able to basically log a post trip as soon as I got there, go into sleeper berth right away, and then I got my bills and was ready to finally leave there right when my 8-hour sleeper berth was up. Since I only used so much of my drive clock in the previous shift, it meant I still had plenty of drive clock remaining to get me legally. It was totally legit logs from the receiver to the truck wash to get my trailer washed out, then to a Catskill here, right there in Vernon as well, and then to the shipper. Now, the Catskill not exactly along the route to the shipper, but it's very close to the route. Just basically one major street up, over from where I was already at. And the shipper is on the same major street that I was already on, or right by. And the truck wash, where the trailer washout place is also on that same street. And the trailer washout place is actually right along the path to the shipper, and it was only, a 2 or 3 mile trip or something like that from my receiver to my shipper, so it's very close. But I still had the other little bullshit to deal with, and technically you're supposed to be on duty when you're doing that kind of stuff, but how can I drive my truck if I don't have clock to work with? And as it is, I was already 4 hours late to my shipper because of the time that got spent in the receiver. The receiver didn't open until 7 a.m. I checked in right away, but the way they were working, it kind of seemed like they only had like one crew really doing any working of the tractor trailers. Because that customer, U.S. Growers, they have a bunch of straight vans over on the first several dock doors. So they'll have crews working those, trying to get them loaded quickly and get them moving for their deliveries. And then the next dock doors over, basically right next to me, to where I was docked in at, was a day cabber. And of course, day cabbers usually take priority over sleeper cab drivers because they have limited, they have tighter time schedules on their routes, and they don't have a sleeper unit that they can sleep in if they run out of clock. Whereas with us, we can hang out in our sleeper berth and sleep and all that while we're waiting for them to unload us, or even while they're actively loading or unloading us. So it's a different situation for us. And we tend to have more time to work with, where we'll have slack time to work with, account for delays here and there. Day cabbers usually don't. They're usually very tight. I'm not a fan of day cab work myself. I don't like that. It's a little bit too stressful and hectic for me. At least with the account that I was in, where I've done day cab routes within a sleeper truck, I'm like, screw this. If I'm burning 13 and a half hours easily of my clock, sometimes more, out of a 14-hour shift, every single time I do one of those day cab routes, and I always feel like I don't get an actual, something that did not involve pulling inventory stickers off of the pallets, then it'd be a different story. But when I barely have enough time to, if I even do it all, to fit in a 30-minute break, that's just too damn tight. There's no margin for error. It's one thing to have drivers actually be productive, but what if I get sleepy and need a nap? or what if there are traffic delays or something that screws me up? You know, several little problems there I can come up. So it's just not my cup of tea. There are a lot of people who actually would much strongly prefer doing day cab work, and hey, more power to you if that's your cup of tea, but not mine. I found out I like OTR life better. The OTR side, I can drive as hard as I want to, or as I can, but it's not stressful in the sense that hey, if it takes me a little extra time to get there, or I need an extra, like maybe a couple extra hours for a nap or something, so what? It's usually have the ability to do that, and then I'm always productive and safe with the time that I do spend behind the wheel. Affecting my ability to get over here when I can legally do so and need to do so. See what I mean? This guy just went flying past me. About getting to the shipper 4 hours late is that also forced me in a position where I'm losing the the workflow of the trucks that are there on time, because their staff is set up for the trucks that are there when they're supposed to be there, not for trucks that showing up late. So usually it either becomes a case of if they can double up on a truck or whatever, it can free up somebody to work you in, or if somebody doesn't show up at their designated time, then you can get pushed into their time slot and get loaded on in their time slot. Sometimes those work hits, depending on the place, they can go. Some places you can go pretty fast, and others, you can be there for quite a few hours. Americold facilities are particularly notorious for being extremely slow if you have to get worked in. My two long. First one was at a facility in Rigby, Idaho. Is it? Is it Rigby, Idaho? Well, whatever that R town is in Idaho, it's right by Hayburn off of I-84. So there are different towns in Idaho that I'm familiar with. Rigby, Rupert, and there's some other one, but and I want to say there's a third one I'm thinking of, but I'm brain farting on it. And I know one of those towns that I'm thinking of is over by Idaho Falls, and another one is right over there by Hayburn, or east of the Twin Falls and Jerome area. Anyway, that first one I had was there. I showed up about 20 minutes late, mainly because of some idiot at the Love's truck stop there in Hayburn decided to accuse my trainee of hitting his truck when he did not. And we there at all because we were trying to get our trailer washed out at the truck wash right across the street from Love's, but find out the hard way the place was closed, so then we ended up just parking there in Love's to sweep out our trailer instead. And then it was just a messed up situation there where we're trying to set up for one of the spots right behind the fuel island, or next to the fuel island, I guess you would call it. But in the middle of my trainee's setup path, a bull hauler came out of the fuel island and in the way of where he was at. This lane's in. Let's see if these guys are going to be nice and let me over. Anyway, it created a bad situation. Bull hauler didn't want to back up, so I just had my trainee back up the exact same way that he went forward, which basically a left turn going backward. That way, you don't want to go straighten out and then have your trailer go hitting, take a different path back than what it was originally doing. Is this a Lamborghini or something? What is it? What is wrong with the back of his car? That is a Lamborghini. It's friggin' backfiring a lot. I think he's having issues. Where the hell's the back end of his car, though? Now, it's a black Lamborghini. I kept hearing this popping sound, like, what the hell's going on, man? Someone's shooting at me or some shit, and the fact that he was kind of slowing down to be right next to me, whatever, I'm like, what the hell, like, no, that's not anybody shooting at me or some crap, but then I realized he was just having some backfire issues. Anyway, yeah, my trainee, though, I had him backing up. Basically, it turned into a blindside backing in the lane to keep the trailer away from the trucks that were parked in the row. And really just to get enough out of the way for the bull hauler to get by us so we could redo the setup. Well, while he was backing up, this guy who had already backed into a spot a minute before us, now in the path of where the trailer was at when we were backing back up, decides that he's going to come back out of his spot because I guess he didn't like the way he was parked or something, but unbeknownst to us because we couldn't see him. And he had just parked and he had his brakes set and everything, so like, okay, we're backing up, and all of a sudden I hear this air horn going off, and my trainee hits his brakes really fast, and we both look in the mirror, or I'm looking everywhere, but from the side that we could see through the mirrors, we couldn't see him. And then all of a sudden, boom, there he is right there in their blindside mirrors, sticking out past our trailer. Like, what the hell's this guy doing? Like, he was already parked. Why does he even back out? But we ended up finally setting up. We didn't hit him because I would have felt it. And trust me, I know even if you just love tap another truck, you will feel it. Don't say you can't. You cannot bullshit a bullshitter there. I know from experience that even just an ever so slightest love tap, if you're paying any bit of attention whatsoever, you will feel it. Okay, so I know that I can feel if we rebound off, ricochet off somebody, even if it's the slightest thing. It's like bumping a dog. But I didn't feel anything like that, and then when we ended up finishing, basically when the bull hauler got out of the way, we set up for the backing, got into the spot, and then when we got parked, the guy comes over to my side of the truck and starts yelling, the next time you hit somebody, you stop right there. And then he just takes off, like walks, runs off, like, where the hell did he go? I didn't even have my seatbelt off yet, I think, if I remember right. And I think we're trying to get the windows back up and brake set and all that shit. And then when I looking all over his truck, trying to find anything whatsoever indicate. Let's see, 210 freeway already coming up, man. I'm so used to when I come down this way, I end up on the down there in Collin or 7. Oh. Yeah, 21 freeway, which is a handful of miles south of the 60. 60 is not very far south of 10. And then 210 is only a few miles south of 210 is only a few miles north of I-10. But it just seemed like it was a quicker, shorter trip here going up 605 than I expected it to be. Maybe just tater chattered so much didn't realize the time flew by that fast. So anyway, yeah, we're looking with our flashlights all up and down this guy's truck, everywhere possible, trying to find any hint of a spot where we hit the guy. We can't find anything. He did have some damage on his truck, but we could tell from the rust and stuff on it that it was damage that was already there before. It had nothing to do with us. So they're like, all right, well, this guy wants to sit there and accuse us of hitting him, and then he runs off like, fuck him. All right, I'm going to go inside, ask the fuel desk person to call the cops over here, because I'm not going to, he was basically accusing us of hit and run. Even though all we did was, we're trying to get out of the lane, because the lane we were in, that's the only way out of the fuel island. When you get fuel and you leave, you have to circle around to the right, and the only lane available right there is where we were at. So, like, okay, well, we're not going to sit here and block everybody in the fuel island. We can figure out where, what the damage is, and yeah, if we hit him, we hit him. We can admit to that and report it and say that, there was contact. But because there are people who don't have integrity and will flee when they hit somebody, gets this guy freaked out thinking that we're leaving. Yeah, where the hell are we going? We're just, the only way we can go with the way we're facing is toward the fuel island, and all we're trying to do is get out of the lane so people in the fuel island can leave. And we actually got parked, so what the hell are you talking about? You're freaking accusing us of hit and run. Bullshit. So I go inside, like, hey, I'm gonna get the cops involved. And they show up very quickly. I realized this guy was inside I think Carl's Jr. or whatever it is that's over there. I think it's Carl's Jr. and that lives. But yeah, then I come back out, and then he finally comes back out. And by then the cops were already there. So like, yeah, this freaking guy accused us of hitting him, and then trying to say that we were trying to hit and run him. So, like, I called you guys first, so then, and then the guy was, oh, man, you got the cops? Seriously? It's like, come on, work with me here. I don't want this to be on my record any more than you do, so let's work this out here. Like, well, you're going to sit here and accuse us of freaking hit and run, and then you take off yourself into the building, then, what option do I have? But to make sure my ass is covered. So you're not going to sit here and accuse me of a hit and run accident and then run off and call the cops, for all I know. So I'll get a hold of them myself. Anyway, the freaking discussion we ended up having over all that caused us to be 20 minutes late to the shipper. We had to get into the work-in pile, and it was busy as hell with work-ins that time. And on top of that, they didn't have a full crew to work. All in all, we were there for 26 hours before we finally got to leave loaded. And of course, you show up late to an appointment, you don't get even a single penny of detention paid because you showed up late. contractually, the shipper does not have an obligation to pay detention pay for late arrivals, even if the late arrival is something beyond the carrier's or the driver's control. They had another case where I was detained for I think 36 hours at the Miracle in Clearfield, Utah, which actually Cody Shehorn himself used to work at one point in time. That's was and the load information that I gave them, I guess, corresponded to a 12:30 pickup. No, not 0030, but 12:30, going to Tracy, California. So I was trying to get home too. So, but I was there on time. I tried to check in on time, but somebody in the process screwed things up and gave me bad information to work with for my pickup. Whether it was Tyson or JCT, I don't know, but somebody screwed something up. I got the impression that Tyson messed it up, though, based on the information that I collected. So they didn't allow me to check in until I was able to get the correct pickup information, get the pickup info resolved. Well, the woman who was working when I got there at night, she didn't say anything about there being any 0030 pickups from us scheduled to go. So, and I guess for some reason she didn't see it. She only knew about the 12:30 pickup that my pickup info corresponded to. I don't know, maybe she just wasn't so experienced, but normally, even if they do have access to that information, they usually are not supposed to give us that information because it could be a security concern. Like, hey, I'm coming to steal a load, and steal a load that I have no plans to ever deliver. So you usually have to show up with the correct pickup information no matter what. But the guy, because people in offices were not in at the time I showed up, wasn't able to get any progress on figuring things out until in the morning. Once our people in Topolpa got to work, and also when Tyson's people were in a position to respond to emails as well. And JCT kept saying, that's the only information we got. That's what Tyson gave us. It's an indication that Tyson must have just given JCT bad information. But then the next day, I don't know, I finally got around like 10, 11 in the morning, whatever, and the guy who was working in the shipping office at the time, I think he had and all that. He was willing to work with me on it. So I asked him, well, just curious, because he said he did see that in his thing that there was a 0030 pickup that was supposed to have been made, and it was not picked up. And so I asked him, well, any chance you can give me that pickup information and I can send it to my dispatch and they can communicate with Tyson and double check if that was actually what I was supposed to be picking up? Because it sounded like everything that he was telling me was exactly the load I was supposed to be getting. But it had a completely different pickup information and a number on it. So they go, yeah, sure, here, I'll get it. So I get the information and I send it on and finally get confirmation, yep, that's the one you want. Then they finally gave me a dock door. But waiting in front of the dock door or in the dock door or whatever, or being ready to actually get my bills and leave, by the time all was said and done, it was, I think, 36 hours. And because I actually did show up on time, and it wasn't mine or JCT's fault, basically, the customer was compelled to pay detention pay even 1 minute of my on-duty clock. The people out here like to complain about getting detention pay. Okay, like today, the detention situation, yeah, it was not cool because they made me late for my other pickup, but if it's just a pickup that I'm doing, then hey, it's not my fault that load's going to be late if it is at all, and it actually wasn't going to be late. Even as late as I was picking it up, or finally rolling out of there with it, I still had enough time to get down the road and get it delivered on time. Alright, so they take diffusers off of Lamborghinis to show off their exhaust. Interesting. As if you even need to do that with, don't they have like V10 engines in them or something? Isn't it already well known enough that they're like very, very strong sports cars? And backfiring by design, I've heard that too, where like muscle cars. I guess muscle cars, because of their, how much instability, I call it, with their cam design and all that. With how long the throws are on the piston push rods, and then the cam lobes as well. It's very common for them to have to kind of struggle to stay running when they're idling, but then once they're at power, then they really run. At least that's what I was told by a coworker of mine when I was in aircraft maintenance, who knew a lot about performance tuning. It made sense because another one of our coworkers actually still has it. What was it, a 69 Chevelle, I think it is. 67, 69, whatever it is. Yeah, that's a sweet car too. We take that. We would sometimes go in that car in his car to lunch, and yeah, just like he's saying it. They had that kind of sound to it. But sound through all. Alright, gotta have some entertainment facts in here for you guys, Now I think I went too slow with it. That car can haul ass. It can spin tires in even second and even third gear, if I remember right. And he could, it would even do a slight wheelie at first, when he'd launch off at first. Not a really big one like you might see in a lot of like 7-second type of drag racers, but I'd be willing to bet he was probably he could probably do high single digit miles. Clueless mention, passing through Vernon, California now. Got Town Avenue. Follow town all the way straight down to the 10 freeway. You get right into my wife's neck of the woods, Pomona. Got Claremont also over here. Okay, I got a message back from dispatch regarding my question, so wait.
Message 110. Important received today at 8:16 p.m. Are you able send us a picture of the paperwork? If so, please send to NIGHTSHIFT2@johnkrishna.com, Eric.
Okay. I guess I'll scan and send them email them a copy of the bills when I get to the house and ask for clarification what they want. And my daughter's great grandmother, she lives right over here off the 210, right there by, pretty close to where Upland and Rancho Cucamonga meet up. Off the Carnelian Road exit. Looks like fellow JCT or Double T just posted another TikTok video. Honestly, I'm trying that TikTok app out, and I'm really not liking it too much. It's just, it feels like there's too many things missing from the interface. It's like I can't tell when a particular video was posted on, like, because a friend of mine who follows this guy who drives for us on that, who's very popular on there, I guess. And I actually know that I've met the guy before, if I remember right. My friend Eric has talked to him, and the guy, the TikTok guy, before, and I asked him if he knew me, and he said he does. So, not Double T. It looks familiar. I just can't quite put a name to the face. I think I might have ran into him at a truck stop somewhere or something. I don't remember. But yeah, he has all these videos, and there are these different numbers on the videos. Like, what the hell does that number mean? I don't even know. It just seemed like some freaking random number on the video, and there's nothing that I can see that tells me what date and time the video was posted. Really not any titles on them. So I find it pretty annoying, actually, overall. I like YouTube better, because at least I have an easy way to tell when the video was posted, and there's an actual title to the video as well. Now even also on YouTube, if I've already seen a video before, you'll have that little red bar going across, even on the thumbnail, that shows that you've already watched that video before, or that you've seen up to a certain point in the video. Mountain Avenue. Okay, chat took a shit. Got too much traffic around me. It's gonna have to stay that way. So you guys go and keep talking if you want, but just expect that I will not be able to see what you say until later. Campus Avenue. Yeah, I definitely want to get into the Upland area here. Christmas time, actually right here, I think it's right here off of campus. There's a neighborhood up here, a nice neighborhood up here at the top of the corner, toward the top of the hill. They do some really badass Christmas light display. The whole neighborhood does it, basically, and some of the houses will synchronize their lights to music. They go all out. Even if you're not the most festive person in the world like me, it's still cool to look at, and at least show appreciation for all the creativity or the effort that people put into decorating their homes for the season. said, I'm sure there might be more said than what I can see. Clueless talking about NASCAR racing in Fontana. Yeah, I've been to several NASCAR races there myself. I've even been there for an Indy Race League race. Now, them NASCAR cars are a lot louder. They have that roar to them, but then Indy cars, damn, those things haul ass. They're not quite as loud, and they have that higher pitched, that smoother, higher pitched sound to them. They're still plenty loud, but they don't sound anything. It sounds more like someone on a motorcycle. And on the back stretch between turns 2 and 3, those suckers do like 240 plus miles per hour down that straightaway. NASCAR guys probably do about 205, perhaps, I don't know, something around there on that back stretch there. And of course, everybody shows up and goes to races to watch the accident and watch the crashes more than anything else. It's kind of like going to a hockey game. You go to a hockey game expecting with the highlight of the game being the fights that break out and not the game itself. Now, you know what's funny though is because I'm a Kings fan, I don't get a chance to watch very many games, but I do like to watch the LA Kings. And I noticed in more recent years, it just seems like there are far fewer fights in the NHL games than what I'm used to there being in the past. It's like it's evolved. So I remember back in I'd say when the Kings, their goon, as you might call him, Marty McFly. Or Marty McSorley, I mean, not Marty McFly, it's fucking Back to the Future. Marty McSorley. He was one of the Kings defensemen. It was basically the designated goon of the team. And yeah, that guy was very notorious for always getting into fights. And I remember he even got suspended at one point in time for a really cheap shot hit to one of the only black players in the NHL at the time, Donald Brashear. I remember that hit actually knocked Donald out, if I remember right, and I can't remember how long Marty was suspended. I think it was for the whole year, for the rest of the season or something like that. Do you remember? Okay, look like I've got a little bit of a break here. Alright. And Rancho. Race I ever went to, the first NASCAR race I went to there in Fontana, or as we call it, Fontucky, locally. My favorite driver, or a local guy, or something you can kind of call him local, Jimmy Johnson. It's one of the reasons why I like Jimmy Johnson. One, he's local. I mean, he's from Southern Cal, and also he was never really one of those controversial, like, attitude problem kind of guys, or, he was basically, I always saw him as a consummate professional in terms of how he carried himself. So I always had a liking to him, and he ended up winning that race, but I didn't get a chance to watch the last 10 minutes of the race because that particular race we went over to the Metrolink station over here in San Bernardino and then rode the train across instead. And then the conductor told there being a red flag for an accident or something in that late in that race. But yeah, I was getting to that point in time where hey, it's we got to get back to the train by 4 o'clock so they don't leave without us. Because I didn't want to have to figure out another way back to San Bernardino. And we get over the train, and there's hardly anybody there except for us and maybe the few people who actually listen to the conductor. And then we find out the race ends, and people stay there all the way to the end, and then they still didn't leave until the train was full of all the people who were riding it over. Like, you assholes! I could have stayed at the track. I stayed and watched the end of the race by. It's still back on the train. So because of that, it made me reluctant to ever ride the Metrolink to there again. I was going to move over for a car, but there's this car that moved into my lane that I could have gone into. So I'm in the number 4 lane. This guy who just passed me right now was in the number 2, but was gaining and moving into the number 3 at the same time I wanted to move into 3. They were already in the act, so I had to give it to them. Alright, 15 freeway here. And then Rancho Cucamonga. So I've been to multiple NASCAR races there, but I got to where I almost always drive my car there instead now. So I don't have to, I probably need to use that other lane. No, I'm okay in this lane. Yeah, that way, there are trade-offs though. If you ride the Metrolink train, there's no issues at all getting into there. It's just, hey, go show up at whatever station you're going to ride it in from, and then when you get to the track, you're already there at the track. You just walk from the train across the parking lot to the other side of the track to get in, because the entrance to the track is all on the south side of the track, and the train comes in from the north. And then the majority of the parking, for cars is on it's on all sides really. The northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, whatever. But in a normal route in, I would come down Summit Avenue, depending on where I was coming from. If I was coming from my house in San Jacinto or Highland, then I would go across the 210, San Jacinto, I'd go across the 10 freeway. And then maybe come up Cherry Avenue, which is right by the dealer where I just, both the Peterbilt and the Kenworth dealers where I've been getting my truck work done at. In fact, the KW dealer where I just had my truck work done the other day is, it's only about a couple blocks away from the NASCAR track. It's that same street, Cherry Avenue. The track's in between Cherry Avenue and Etiwanda Street. Etiwanda Road, whatever. Okay, well, as I'm coming up to 15 here, you can also get off at Summit Avenue, which is right here, this next exit right in front of me. And it's like 1 block to Cherry Avenue, and you can hurry down I feel like getting off the freeway here. Thank you. But anyway, yeah, like say if I went to my dad's first or something, or we met up here and then rode in together coming down Summit and Cherry, man, it would take us 2 hours just to go like a couple miles down down Cherry Avenue. Like from the 210 freeway down to the track, it would take 2 hours just to get into the track. But then when you leave, it's a freaking madhouse, and then they always do a really good job with the traffic control when you're leaving the track. Because like, if you come out over on the Etowanda side, they'll basically close off Etowanda. Like say northbound traffic coming toward the track from the 10 freeway or the 15, or off 4th Street, and they'll make it where it's only one-way traffic, and they use all of the lanes available, so everybody can get everybody can get away from the track and to their desired roads or highways, whatever, very quickly going out. So getting out is really easy, all things considered. But getting in, it's a real pain in the ass. It's a hell of a lot more convenient riding the Metrolink train in instead. But you can get out a lot faster driving your personal vehicle. Now the Indy went to, there wasn't nearly as many there, and I think a regular NASCAR Cup Series race will have 43 cars in it. Usually every NASCAR race has 43 cars in it. But the Indy Race League, I think they had, what was it? I don't think, maybe half that. I think it was like 22 or 18 or something like that. So it's a smaller, definitely a much smaller organization. Certain categories of cars, man, those things will do like 4.5-second quarter miles. And they'll have like trap speeds up around 300 miles an hour or some shit. It's just obscene. Hola, Marcos. Yeah, I wouldn't mind at some point maybe head over to Pomona to the, they're going to do the Winter Nationals in November, or yeah, I'm sure a lot of the locals here probably like John Force and the the whole Force family, because they're from the Yorba Linda area, down here off the 91 freeway. I thought one of you guys said before, Ashley Force, I guess she doesn't drive it, she doesn't race anymore or something. And I think John also stopped, right? Because he had, detached retina problems because of all the extreme acceleration and deceleration over the years. Glen Ellen Parkway, it's the last exit before 215 interchange. actually live here in Rialto, where we just passed. Well, at least for the next couple of days. They're actually moving to Oklahoma in a couple more days. This weekend, actually. Unfortunate. We might possibly move to Oklahoma ourselves when my wife can get because she's got to work for a whole school year, and then have to find something doable over there. I'm not so sure how doable it's going to be because I guess teachers in Oklahoma don't get paid nearly as much as teachers in California do. Not to mention, my wife has 16 or so years of tenure at her school, and their pay scale is it goes up as you get more years of tenure. So she's not exactly a bottom feeder as far as the pay is concerned at her school. When it comes to drag racing, those guys who are doing those 4.5-second quarter miles, sometimes the torque is not equal across both tires, and the car wants to pull in one direction or another. So, and when as fast as they're accelerating, sometimes the tires want to lift. The nose tires or steer tires, trying to lift up off the ground, and there goes your you don't get an ability to steer unless you let off the throttle a little bit. Or if you have a wheelie bar to keep your tires on the ground. But even then, I think wheelie bars still tend to still allow the steer tires to come up off the ground on cars that have that problem. Then you have to let go of your throttle a little bit. So basically, you end up limiting the car's ability to accelerate in order to keep it going in the correct direction. Yeah, you're talking about the San Diego Wild Animal Park. I've been. We sometimes get season tickets to there, but we tend to like the San Diego Zoo more. So, we instead sometimes just get season tickets to the San Diego Zoo instead. Or no, actually, I think it's the same season ticket if I recall. So you can go to whichever one you want. I mean, the same ticket will work at both locations if I remember right. It's been a bit. And then we like to always tell the kids, hey, we're going to take you to see your family. Like Clueless was saying there, San Diego Wild Animal Park, basically the 15 freeway north of San Diego, over in the Escondido area, just like he's saying. You gotta go east on, what is that? I think 78, right? I want to say Highway 78. Area off of the 163 freeway. I couldn't even tell that was a JCT passing me until he was already passing me. Didn't get a chance to look at the truck number. divided highway with grade crossings, most for the most part. Then they built the 215 freeway. There was a point in time where you could go through Marietta and Temecula, and it was just nothing there. Temecula used to have like not even 10,000 people in it, and really just a few streets. And then look at it now; it's like large, affluent. You got traffic problems there. I always consider Temecula now to be kind of like the Irvine of Riverside County. You know, just nice, affluent area. You get a lot of upscale houses in, you know, there's particular areas of Temecula where the building, where the code, the building codes there are, the houses have to be at least 4,000 square feet and a certain amount of an acre or something like that. So they got some upscale shit over there. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time in Temecula and also even Marietta, but more so Temecula when I lived in Sun City and as well as in San Jacinto. Because Sun City is only about a 15-minute drive from Temecula. Sun City is actually now part of Menifee, which is just north of Marietta. And yeah, when I was in San Jacinto over by Hemet, I used to regularly go down to Temecula for stuff, whether it be occasionally to the jiu-jitsu school that it wasn't the normal one I went to, but it was affiliated. It was basically my instructors there, and sometimes we do stuff over there, or just go to the mall or wherever else, hang out with people down there. Good area. Coming down 79 though from Hemet toward Temecula, it used to be very annoying because you'd have all these traffic lights, and it used to be all 2-lane road. And then during my time while I was there, they started widening it all where I think it's all 2-lane. I think it's all 2 lanes in both directions now, all the way up and down. All right, Skell's closed. Especially when I had my Subaru. Holy shit, I could have some fun on some of those dirt roads down over there on the east end of Menifee or, in Marietta area. In fact, there's one particular road there in I guess you would call it Marietta. Right there by the Menifee-Marietta border, I guess it's basically called Briggs Road. Well, they used to have come first. I want this car back there to know I'm coming over. Yeah, I used to like stopping there in front of the Clydesdale farm and just check out the Clydesdale. I don't know shit about horses, but I know enough to know what a Clydesdale is, and see how massive they are by a horse standard, and yeah, they're just cool to look at. When they ended up moving that farm, several different roads that were kind of off the beaten path there, in between Winchester and Temecula. And I used to like taking just because there's nobody there, especially if I could be on a dirt road with my car. With my Subaru, that was always a blast. Yeah, now Redlands I've also spent a ton of time in. My doctor, my main doctor used to be in Redlands. Actually, my doctor that I go to now is still in Highland. So I used to live in Highland, which is right on the north side of Redlands. East of San Bernardino, north of Redlands, off the 210 freeway. Yeah, Redlands, now the north side of Redlands, nothing to really write home about. It's not the most upscale area for sure, but it's older. But you get at the University of Redlands area, it's not bad, I guess. And then started going up, getting up on the south side of Redlands, going up more toward the San Mateo Canyon area. Oh yeah, I got a lot of nice big houses there. $1 million properties. Yeah, and even the ones that aren't, when you're right there in the core of Redlands. Yeah, you get a lot of colonial style homes, I guess you would call them, or Victorians, or I don't know what they're called, but something along that. I guess I would call them colonial, I guess, or Victorian, whatever, something like that. You guys know what I mean. Yeah, a pretty good number of those kind of houses over there. It's and you get a lot of people. You get a lot of people both in everywhere from younger adult all the way up to elderly. It's regular to see people walking, jogging, riding bicycles, riding street bikes or road bikes, whatever you want to call them. All over the place in Redlands. I can vouch Redlands is a nice area. I've spent lots of time there. San Bernardino looks famous for Egyptology. Huh. Well, now San Bernardino is my original home. Actually Colton is, but I was born in San Bernardino, and so I do have a bit of a soft spot for that area. And not to mention, I lived in Highland, I lived in a small part of Highland where it was technically San Bernardino. It was technically Highland, technically San Bernardino, depending on if you were talking to the mailman or if you're talking to the police department or fire department. As far as the mailman was concerned, I lived in Highland, but as far as police and fire services were concerned, I lived in San Bernardino. But San Bernardino itself, a lot of us here call it San Bernardino for a reason. Now, I don't want to draw any kind of racial inferences on that. It shouldn't be, because they're just saying there's a lot of low-class, trashy kind of people there of all walks of life. You guys see yourself when I go to the San Bernardino drop yard that we use, or a pretty large amount of San Bernardino is exactly like that. The part of San Bernardino I'd say is nicer is the north side. Yeah, going up by Cal State, or even going up further up into the DeVore area. But I got faster truck. I got at least three faster trucks in a row passing me. It looks like that looks like a flatbed, like a tow truck flatbed. Yeah, it is one. Let's see if I can signal my way over. How way this Tacoma moves. Why are you even in even need to be in that lane. Don't tell me you're not going to pass that truck anyway. The core of Highland, though, there are a lot of larger, like 2,500, 3,000 plus foot homes and properties, sizable properties, whatever. Right there, all along the mountainside there. Yeah, that's a nice community there. Not without its problems too. Highland is technically runs all the way down over by San Bernardino Airport. San Bernardino Airport itself is otherwise formerly known as Norton Air Force Base. Yeah, pretty much right there up on the north side of the airport. That's actually where the southwestern limit of Highland is. Now it's funny, or not funny at all, but every time I'd hear about any kind of police activity in town, it always seemed to be down like by 9th Street. Yeah, I don't know, Baseline and 9th, but maybe like, no, more like 9th and, or no, 9th actually is East-West Road. Maybe, where was it by? Yeah, anyway, that's the real shitty area of Highland. And then everything east of the 210 freeway is generally nicer. Hey dear, I'm on the 15. I'm getting ready to pass Ranchero Road, so I'm not too much further away. I got, I think 4 exits to go and then I'll be off. 395 coming up, and then Main, and then Bear Valley Road, and then Nisqually. And Nisqually is where I get off the freeway. It's for everybody, for other people watching, not for my wife. Obviously, she knows where I get off the freeway. San Bernardino County, geographically, is actually the largest county in the entire United States. I think it's over, if I remember right, over 22,000 square miles. Something like, or 20,000, whatever it is, it's up there. Yeah, geographically the largest county. County's not exactly a small county either. So it's not very tall from north to south end, but it's wide. We talked about that in past live streams, actually. So I thought it was pretty up there in the rank, but actually it turns out it's, I mean, well, it's kind of up there, but it's not top 10 if I remember. I want to say it was like number 26 in size or something like that. But it is probably up there in population. Riverside County has a pretty good population. People leaving California, yeah, plenty. Actually, a friend of mine and my wife's just left. They just moved to Arizona, and then actually our exes and my kid and my boys actually moving to Oklahoma this weekend from here in Rialto. Yes, I did say our exes. This is probably a funny story. Definitely, I thought it was funny at one time. When this happened, I was basically seeing a therapist. The therapist was a black woman in her, I don't know, 50s or something. And I told her about this, what we did, and she just laughed her butt off, and it's like, and she called Alexa, she saw it, and she was right, too. Here's the kind of crazy stuff that white people do. So Dora and I got together first, and, you know, we don't want to dwell on what, all the ex-spouse stuff, but at the same time, it doesn't hurt to know, hey, what led you to being divorced or separated, whatever. And so you know what things. This is how you work, and then or how you tick. I don't know if we're going to be compatible, or what are some of our pet peeves about them, or whatever. So, you know, we got to talking about. Let's say I got to talk about my ex-wife, and I don't want to talk trash about her. She's a good woman. We just didn't work out. We just drove each other nuts. Now she has her faults, I have mine. She has her good points, I have mine. So mine, saying that, obviously, we talked about some of the things I didn't like about my ex-wife. And then Dora would talk about, say, oh, that sounds just like my ex. And we had so much in common. Now, even without the negative stuff, they were like, hey, they're both into culinary stuff. They both have culinary art, culinary training experience of some sort. And then lifestyles were kind of similar, whatever, we'll just say. So, kind of as a joke, when my wife and I, when we were first dating, she came over to my house, and actually because and Dora wanted to learn Italian food, and then my ex-wife was really good with Italian food and not so good with Mexican food. So they kind of were interested in learning from each other stuff, and ended up getting them to meet up together at my house, and then kind of show each other different stuff with their particular culinary specialties. But we kind of, Dora and I had previously talked prior to that, whatever, about what if we try to get them together to meet up and go on a date or something, just for it to be funny and see if how it would work out. Well, we ended up, getting Dora's ex-husband on the phone while my wife, my ex-wife, and Dora are both at my house in my kitchen doing like sharing notes and kind of stuff. And she gets Bob basically on the phone, and I remember joking about made my ex-wife spit her drink out because I said, hey, I'll let you do my wife if you let me do yours. I'm always good for some crazy off-the-wall thing like that. And my ex-wife, Gina, just freaking laughed her ass off when that happened. But anyway, we ended up getting them to go on a date. And they've been together ever since. They actually got married and everything. Yeah, it's really weird to a lot of people, but honestly, as far as dealing with child visitation stuff and all that, it's actually very simple. Because, an unusual and a separated, when you have blended families, whatever, where, let's say, and where nobody is single, like where all the parents are, are either living with or married to, whatever, somebody who also has kids or something, we'll just say, you can have up to 4 different sets of extra parents involved to complicate things, and if you want to have some kind of outing where all of the kids in your family are together, you have 4 different sets of parents to complicate things, or at least up to that many. Whereas with us, okay, the kids are either with us or they're with the exes. That's it. It's very simple. Yeah, that always gets them like, what the hell? That's definitely weird. Yeah, it is. But, I said Dora and I got together first, and really only tried to egg them on to do that as a joke, and it actually worked out for them. Off the freeway now, Nisqually Road. Oh, by the way, okay, my dash cam, I told you guys about my main dash cam, my dual dash cam set. Now, I got it back from warranty replacement into the left turn lane. Could have turned a lot, like quite a few seconds ago if I'd done that. But no, you don't like to use turn signals, so I have no idea you're going over there, you shithead. Alright, so anyway, I had to get the main unit replaced by warranty. So the screen quit working, and then I also lost power to it. But then I figured out that after I got it back, that it wasn't the main unit that just wasn't powering up. It would still power up, but the problem was it just wasn't getting power from the cord. Which could be confirmed by when I would plug because it has a USB connection on the front of it, so I could plug my phone charger into it as well, into the same plug that powers my dash cam. And the phone charger would not charge my phone either. So when I get the dash cam back, about a couple weeks ago, whatever it was, week and a half, it was the same charger that I sent it back with, and realized when I got it back, okay, it's not the dash cam, because the dash cam worked great when I first hooked it up because it still had the standby battery power in it. But then once it ran through the battery power, then it died, and I hooked my phone back up to it because I I'll be able to get that charger while I'm home, and I can hook my dual dash cam, the main one that has the better video quality and also the rear facing camera on it. I'll be able to start working on collecting more backing footage for those of you guys who like to watch my backing videos. Mr. Clueless asking about compilation videos of people brake checking semis. Yes, they actually do that. Some of them not will actually do it as a way to try to commit insurance fraud. There's actually one particular video that was right here in the Cajon Pass coming up the north side. It was a white pickup. The guy moved over in front of the truck and then decided to hit his brakes and get rear-ended by the semi. And then he tried to basically accuse the semi driver of hitting him and basically being at fault, but then didn't realize that the semi driver had a dash cam that caught the entire thing. So yeah, that guy got in a little bit of trouble there. Not only was he found at fault, but I think he also was criminally charged as well for intentionally causing an accident. Yeah, and then there are others I've heard of. Yeah, I hear of them periodically. I've even heard of actually a couple of them very recently, where people will actually commit suicide by truck. There are two different ways that happens. There are most of the two recent cases that I heard about that both happened within the last month or so. And I was already in the low side, ready to go into fifth, or just ready to. I just didn't quite slow down enough to where I actually had a need for fifth. Anyway, these two incidents recently involved people who were driving the opposite direction. I think one of them, if I recall, was on an interstate, going the wrong way on the interstate. Was that the one right up here by Oak Hill, right here on the 15 by Oak Hill? I can't remember. But the driver intentionally ran right into basically had a head-on collision with a truck going the opposite direction. And there was another one in another state somewhere. I can't remember if it was in Indiana or somewhere else. That was also a case of problem to deal with in a truck. And the other way that they'll do it is sometimes there might be somebody on the right, they'll stop on the right shoulder, and then they'll get out of their car, and then they'll actually walk into the path of the truck as it's getting ready to pass by. So that's another reason why trucks, especially us, we do not want anything to do with being in the lane next to stop traffic. If they're not committing suicide, intentionally going into our path, it could also be just them being stupid and getting out of their car and not paying any attention and then getting hit as we pass by because we can't get over. Or they end up, you need to, my town's already close enough to the curb, I don't even need to do a parallel park. Alright. Alright, I gotta go on duty also. End my day here. I can actually get into Arizona, but it's, let's see. Actually, yeah. If I really wanted to, I could end my day in Arizona and get there more. It was 400 miles. Well, I can't do 405 hours and 50 minutes. That's all I got left on my not 70, but. And I got 24 hours left on my 70-hour clock right now, so I can run 8-hour shifts. The next three shifts, and I'll still run the clock. I get in gaps. Have some delivery. So right shoulder traffic, we have to deal with either someone trying to commit suicide and walking in front of us while we're passing by, or they just stupidly get out and right into our path, not pay attention, which you guys who watched me live streaming a couple months back going up the 99 freeway, that was exactly one of those cases. It was just north of Visalia, I think over by Early Mart or whatever, somewhere in that neighborhood. I was on my way up to Tulare, or no, Turlock. I want to say I had a load going up to Turlock, and I was straight. He blew a tire on his car. He moved over to the right shoulder, stopped, then he got out, and right out, I guess while he was outside looking at his car, he got hit by a UPS driver. A UPS truck driver. I assume that the UPS, and I could be wrong, this is making assumptions again, not necessarily the case, but the UPS driver could have, probably, either they could have moved over and didn't, because maybe they were distracted or sleepy or just didn't give a shit because they were idiots, or like most truckers, we do pay enough attention where we do see this kind of stuff, and we will move over if we're able to. We always try to move over and over to the next lane. For among other reasons, this. No. I'm checking the lights back here because, when Dora shows up, I can't always tell that she's parked behind me. So I have to either look for the aura from her headlights at night, or actually be watching my mirrors for her to actually show up or something. But yeah, she's going to be coming from behind me. Anyway, that particular guy, he blew a tire, got out of his car, got hit by the UPS driver. I assume the UPS driver wanted to move over but couldn't because of faster traffic in the middle lane. And that was unfortunate. It was just a sitting duck. And then there was a case also where people will pull out onto the road right in front of you after they've been sitting on the shoulder. Case in point, somebody I used to work with. Is that? No, that's not her. Somebody I used to work with at March Air Force Base. He wasn't in my shop. He was in a different one, but I dealt with him for quite a bit. He was killed in an accident doing exactly this. He stopped on the right shoulder of Interstate 5 over in the Button Willow area, kind of over to the west of Bakersfield. I don't know why he was over there. Maybe he's just some idiot. Well, he was an idiot. But yeah, he got off the road, probably to take a piss or something outside the car instead of stopping at one of the gas stations or truck stops right there in the area. And he was on his way home to Simi Valley from, he worked up at Travis Air Force Base at the time. And, so he'd go up there, spend the week, and then on Fridays he'd come back down to Simi Valley. Simi Valley being up in the, is that off the 118? It's something like that over there, east, west of I-5 and kind of going over toward Ventura County. Or is it, I can't remember if that's in LA or Ventura County where Simi Valley is, but it's kind of right in that area. But anyway, he decided to pull back onto the road after he was on the right shoulder, but when he did it, two problems there. One, there was a truck coming in the lane that he went into, and so in the truck, he did it right in front of the truck, so the truck just had no option but to just slam right into him. Problem number two, he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So he bounced off the seat and then went right through the windshield, got ejected from the vehicle and got killed from the accident. This is why right shoulder traffic, stay away from them. Doesn't matter if you're in a car or a truck, move over. A good general rule of thumb, if you're going more than 15 miles an hour faster than traffic in an adjacent lane, you're probably going too fast. always move over if you can. Move over an extra lane if possible, or slow down. Those are the two best options. That's why it's actually it's law now in every state that I know of. At least in the case of cops and basically any fire emergency or road maintenance kind of people. That you're required by law to move over if you can, or slow down if you can. And then if you're in the lane, the lane over to the side, 2 lanes over from where the traffic is, let the traffic in that right lane move over. Think safety. Don't get that traffic that's over there involved in an accident, and then next thing you know, you're getting caught in it too because you're too stubborn to let someone move over. You can't get off your damn gas pedal. Alright, my chap took a dump again. Marcos, estoy en Victorville, en mi casa, estoy un día de aquí. Voy a, what's it, town called? Dacula, Georgia, con su carga. It's due in Georgia on September 7th, el 7 de septiembre. Okay, let me restart Streamlabs. Okay. No seatbelt, that lowers chances. Yeah, that lowers chances a lot. Okay, you see another car. I see back there is from the light pole. Another thing we see, Scott, people who drive large pickup trucks like they're sporty cars. Oh yeah, that's true. I'm guilty of that. I used to have a Toyota Tacoma, and I used to like hot rodding out a little bit. That thing was fun as hell to drive. Yeah, especially because I could take it off road a lot too, and it was the whole. Set up for at least some off-road fun, and it was just that thing was a blast to drive. Maybe not quite as fun to drive as my Subaru WRX STI was, but it was a lot of fun. Which ironically, I sold the Subaru to get that truck because when I had the Subaru was when my ex-wife and I were together, and we ended up having conceiving a second child, and we both had smaller cars, and with me being as tall as I am, I have to have my seat all the way back. And I only had my first son. We car seat. Had two kids in the car and 2 car seats. That meant one of them's feet were going to be right behind my chair, and with the car seat, forget it. If they didn't have a car seat and there were maybe a booster chair or something, or no booster at all, it would have been a different situation. But generally speaking, you don't want to be sitting behind me anyway. Because every car, I literally always have the chair as far back as I can. At least almost always. Very, very seldom. Video code for what I mean. I mean the really reckless one. Yeah, that's true. There are some complete idiots out there. Alright, I should probably go offline, make sure she knows, hey, I'm here. Because if it's taking this long to get here, either she's busy or doesn't know that I'm here already. So, let me get this stream ended, and I'll be back online. It's 9:30, so about 7:30 in the morning I can go back on duty. I'll probably want to be pretty prompt about that so I can drive during hours that I want to drive on these next shifts. So, alright, 7:30 in the morning Pacific, 10:30 Eastern for those of you guys on the East. Marcos, I can't remember if you're in Central Time, so probably I'll ask 9:30 en la mañana. In Central Time Zone. Okay. Alright, guys.